Bruce, you're competing on the world's motor racing circuits and beating people who've got far, far more money to spend than you have. What's the secret of success?
It's very difficult to say, Gordon, the absolute one thing that is the secret, because I don't think there is any one thing, but certainly experience is tremendously important in motor racing, and to build up a motor racing team with experienced people takes a long time. Now, you can put any number of engineers together very quickly, but they're still not going to come out with a race-winning automobile. They'll come out with a good car, but they may come out with it too late, or it may be unreliable, it may be undeveloped. To put together a group of people that can produce a racing car that's going to be ready on time and will work is the initial secret.
Would you be very much better if you had 4 or 5 times as much money to spend?
No, we'd probably get in a terrible mess, I imagine. Each year it gets a little harder to keep everything as neatly and as nicely controlled as we did in previous years, because there is just that much more administration, there is that much more to go wrong. It takes us more and more time to plan ahead, and it means more disruption. If I come into the workshop and want to change things suddenly, or want to get a particular job done in a hurry, there is more complaints, there are more moans, there's more chaos caused. We often see the big companies. In fact, when I was racing for, say, one of the big companies like Ford, they would take a long time to get things done because it had to go down through the channels. I could occasionally offer to do little engineering jobs in our place, because I could come back and say, hey, start on this tomorrow morning and let's get it done. But as we get bigger ourselves, I find this facility disappearing.
Are you going to put a limit on the size then?
I think we ought to. As far as the size of the racing team goes, definitely. You can get too big as a racing team, and you could get involved and hidebound like a bigger organization would become. You've got to be able to move quickly. If somebody comes out with something better, or a better racing car, or a better idea, you'd better come out with it next week if you're going to be competitive. So you've got to be able to move quickly.
You've been eulogized in press articles for your dedicated professional approach. You're getting these results with only 35 people working here. What sort of approach do you demand from them?
Well, I think we've been very fortunate. We have a group of people at the moment, led by probably 4 or 5 people who, while I tend to say, let's get it done, and I tend to rush things, they will follow up and do it well as getting it done. And I would say that the quality that we've ended up with, the fact that we've actually got it done, is I would like to take responsibility for, but the quality hasn't quite been mine. I think we've been fortunate in having a few people who like doing the job very well, in the machining areas, the sheet metal areas, the fabrication areas. In each case, we've got someone who's very careful and who cares about what he's doing. Now, this has obviously got to be carried over into the maintenance of the cars and so on. The actual care with which pieces are put together is very important on a racing car. Something done incorrectly or done badly, something assembled in a hurry, perhaps not crack checked or not assembled absolutely perfect, can be very dangerous.
You talked as though you were driving them on to do things which their caution held them back, but you've got the reputation yourself of being one of the most cautious racing car constructors, unwilling to go ahead with anything that isn't very well proved.
Well, we're not innovators at the moment, but we haven't dared innovate largely because we've had to be there, and we've had to finish with our racing cars in order to get the job done. Although we have broken out in quite a few new areas with this car, for instance, the Can-Am car. But no, where I'm cautious is purely as a result of driving the cars. I have to sit in them all day long, and I don't want things falling off. So consequently, in the drawing office, I say, well, yeah, maybe it could be a bit thinner, but maybe it will be a little bit lighter, but let's just leave it thick. So yes, yeah, I'm responsible for that. I'll take that that criticism. But while I'm driving the cars, they'll be that way. They'll probably lighten up a bit when I stop driving.
Amanda, come on, darling.
Amanda is the 3-year-old daughter of Bruce and his New Zealand wife Pat, and they live in an attractive house near Walton-on-Thames. Bruce and Pat McLaren are a popular couple in the motor racing world and have had their fair share of failures and successes.
Oh, no.
The successes are demonstrated in the trophies which are displayed in his home, and which range from the vast cup which he got when he won the Argentinian Grand Prix for Coopers in 1960, to the highly prized Ferodo Trophy, which he was given in 1968 for his services to motorsport. As the most recent and probably the most important trophy, it has pride of place on the top of the cabinet. Like most racing drivers, Bruce McLaren enjoys outdoor sports. He's a keen cricketing enthusiast and water skis if he gets the chance. He limps as the result of a childhood accident. Unlike many successful men, however, he doesn't indulge himself in luxury. His house is simple and tasteful, and it is to his home and his family that he turns for relaxation.
Have a busy day. As usual.
In the months you are away from home, what do you miss most?
I would say just one, pure relaxation, and two, the little girl.
Does she come with you ever?
No, I might be old-fashioned, but I don't really like the idea of children around racetracks. In fact, I think I'm probably old-fashioned enough to figure that, in general, women in motor racing don't mix. Not actually at the track during the day, although Patty copes with the timekeeping and this sort of thing, and she's very efficient at it, does the lap scoring and so on. But she knows me well enough to stay out of my hair if I've got some kind of a technical problem or any sort of drama going on. I'm pretty unapproachable if I'm busy.
What for you are the best bits and the worst bits of being a racing driver's wife?
I think the best bits are travelling, which I adore, and meeting lots of people, seeing new places, which I love also. The opportunity to go to places which I wouldn't have otherwise. Obviously, the worst bits are the fact that I don't see as much of Bruce as I would like to, and certainly not with Amanda, because when he's not racing, he's at the factory from early morning till late at night. But then you can't have it always, you know. You have to take the good with the bad.
Do you think that your family suffers as a result of the demands that motor racing makes?
No, not really. Fortunately, I don't. Amanda accepts it very well that we're both away, and Bruce is away even more than I am, and I don't think it has hurt her in the slightest at the moment. I hope it never does. And as for us, I'm sure that we're probably happier seeing each other when we do than if we were living out of each other's pockets as normal people perhaps do.
How far do you allow yourself to be conscious of the risks that he's running when he's racing?
I don't really think about them. I'm not a nervous type, fortunately, and I don't really think about things that can happen. I mean, one always knows they can, and I don't think you completely dismiss them from your mind, but on the other hand, if you keep yourself busy, as I do, you have got time to think about them anyway, which I think is the best way.
What makes these risks worthwhile?
Well, it's difficult for me to say when I don't actually drive, but as a wife, I would assume just the thrill and enjoyment and great achievement out of doing something that you really think is worthwhile.
But can you sit and bite your nails through a race and then really feel that the achievement was worth it? Or don't you sometimes look at those trophies and think, gosh, you know, I'd rather not have had them?
I could think of other things I'd like instead of some of those trophies because they're not particularly beautiful, but on the end they all mean great things. No, I don't sit and bite my nails. I'm either timing or lap scoring or something, and I don't sort of think about it that way.
Is motor racing the sort of thing that you're prepared to go on doing for life? Do you visualise it as a career in itself, or do you visualise yourself stopping and then doing something else?
I'll stop the moment that I'll stop actively racing, the moment that I feel that I can't go as fast as I should without kind of extending things too much.
What do you think is the greatest reward that your combined jobs can give you?
The most satisfying part of it is actually having a car or seeing a car finished and actually driving it and running it and racing it. That's the most satisfying part at the moment. I think that's the thing that plus beating people that you race against. Those are the two satisfying things. I think that's the thing that drives all the people that we're involved with in the company.
Do you see the World Championship as a great sort of pinnacle?
Not the World Championship in itself, but what it represents and the fact that you've done better than anyone else, yes.